Hello, good morning, welcome. Happy to see so many of you are interested in why marketing needs to change to become marketing again. As we only have 15 minutes, let's jump right in. So, we're living in an age of shifting paradigms. And actually, we have been for a while now. So we're moving away from this age of focusing on personalization, which has been very much around conversions and sales, and moving towards providing experiences and really having these one-to-one personal, meaningful connections with our customers. And that's driven through many different things. For example, the whole trend around customer privacy, people being more conscious about their data, the data privacy regulations, deprecation of third-party cookies, but also just the fact that people are impacted by so much information each day. There's so many products and channels and information coming around. So we're not talking about share of wallet anymore, but we're really talking about share of mind. And we have, so companies have been focusing on customer experience for a while now. And we can see that this is paying off. Also, a study that we did last year shows that people are willing to pay more if the experience is good, but also people will walk away from a brand when the experience is bad. And even from brands they love, so the stakes are really high. And when you ask companies like, how do you think you're doing? The majority would say like, yeah, providing pretty decent experiences. But when you ask customers, actually the picture looks a bit different. So there's really this huge gap between what customers expect and what companies are actually able to deliver. And that's something that we see in the B2C area, but also something that's increasingly relevant for the B2B area as well. As there's a new generation of employees working there who are not willing to take ugly-looking web shops, irrelevant communication, bad UX on websites. So we're expecting the same experience we have in our private lives also in the professional one. So what we can say is marketing as it is today needs to change.
Yeah. Thanks, Katha. And why is it the case that there is no difference between B2C and B2B perception in customer experiences? Well, simply because people don't differentiate. They don't see, I'm now visiting a B2B website, therefore I have different expectations. No, the last best experience they had on any given website becomes the minimum expectation for the next visit on your website. So here we are, we're all competing with the Amazons and the Googles of the world, no matter which industry we're in. So it's good to think human and not product. Why? Because basically, if you think about experiences, you do a perspective shift. You do a perspective shift from pushing a product through a channel towards a target audience. And you rather think of a human who has, and thank you for that example with the smart home, Thomas, that was exactly what it is all about. It is not about a product being sold to someone, it's about experiences that create value in specific moments. So the second perspective shift is about switching from channel thinking to moment thinking. And so I like this, by the way, this is not a client of ourselves, so this is not bragging. It's just about how can a company that relies on what the brand stands for, in this case it's the Nike brand that says, in fact, it's not a running shoe, it's a product of self-optimization. So what is someone interested in who wants to self-optimize? Well, maybe it's about being motivated to do the next run. Maybe it's about seeing how he or she processes or progresses on their workout plan, or simply having a new playlist for the next daily run provided by that brand. So a lot of moments to create value-driven experiences with your users. And how can you approach this transformation? We heard that transformation in the previous speech, that maybe it's an evolution, it's an ongoing thing. But if you want to approach this, and we highly recommend you to do so, we recommend to look at 5 pillars. And again, thank you for the BSH example with the process chart at the very end. Yeah, we believe that it's 5 pillars and none of them should be neglected. Like starting with the customer is very obvious. So better understand your customer in order to create these moments. Then describe these customers using data, use technology managing this data, and then use the technology also to provide better content in terms of individual creative messaging towards your individuals, not target groups. And then adjust your whole organization to that thinking of customer centricity. So, well, slicing the elephant, starting with customer centricity. As you might see, I'm of an age where when we talked about campaigns and addressing customers, we talked about target groups. So I would say today is the last day to say goodbye to the target group, because how would you usually describe a target group? Yeah, social demographic, psychological criteria. So you could probably see these three young women. They are part of the young, urban, fun-seeking, hedonist target group. Well, in fact, they're three individuals, and they differ a lot, although they might seem to belong to the same target group. One might prefer a diplomatic, conversational tone. The next one might prefer to discuss all decisions about products and brands with their friends and peers. And the next one might be interested in the product very much in detail. So how about addressing these people, these women, not as a target group, but as individuals, like the following products may be of interest to you, or here, this is a cool product you might want to share with your friends. And the good thing is this is not only true for the Gen Z and for the young audiences, this is also true for more mature audiences. Again, think about what the people buy in terms of when they buy your brand. Do they buy a bottle of liquor, or do they buy a status symbol, or an investment, or simply a good time with friends? By the way, we did not have the copyrights from Mr. Boris Johnson, so let's keep this between us, please. Yeah, simply, I think this should be a no-brainer, but that's basically, it's a slide we should anyway show every time. You know, become personal with your customer, say goodbye to the target group, and put your customer at the center of a whole seamless omni-channel customer journey. And how to begin to do that, begin doing so, that's about the next slide being presented by Katharina.
Thank you. So of course, one important ingredient for that is data. And here we're really talking about aggregating cross-channel that information about the users and bringing that together into one 360-degree user profile. And what we're interested in is, of course, knowing who we're talking to. So with first-party data, identification is a very important point. So name, email address, any kind of ID. But of course, in order to have this personal conversation with our customers, we also need to understand who they are. So it's about enriching these profiles and making it not just only about information. So really seeing what kind of topics are they interested, what are products that are relevant for them, what kind of tonality and motivations and values do they have, and how can we best approach them. And here it's very important to see that it's a very internal focus, so it's adding value to our business to know all about that customer, but it's not the time anymore where we're chasing customers with third-party cookies throughout the internet, but it's about seeing them on eye level and having this value exchange. So making sure that whatever we're collecting actually provides a value to them and enhances their experience in the end. And something that needs to be clear to the customer as well. And of course, there's also these immediate incentives we can provide them, from monetary benefits, gamification, entertainment, any kind of exclusive things to incentivize them a bit more. And then, as we also learned, it's not only about having that data, but making use of it, right? So technology is a part of that too, making sure that we have the right platforms. So one very central platform for that is the CDP, Customer Data Platform, which allows us to combine all the known informations from our known customers that's usually stored in the CRM, together with all the anonymized user data that we collect throughout all the channels. And the good thing is that we can also collect already information about customers we haven't yet identified and want to do that in the future. And then it's about having the data at the core of your organization. So really making sure that everything is integrated and flowing in there, but also everything is using the insights that we can build from it. So we have data management at the very bottom, and then building on top of it with analytics and insights. So looking back, what worked well, what didn't, and also use predictions, which goes into the decisioning layer. So having smart segmentations about our customers, orchestrating their journeys, identifying next best actions for them, which is very much also linked to the content in the communication area. So are provided with all the content that we need to deliver that and really activate across all the channels that we have with our customers. And that's already the next point, creativity and content. So we need to change how we create content when we're becoming more data-driven. And that is because when we have our customer data and we have the decisioning engine that tells us what's the next best action, we can't come with the campaigning we usually do with, like, what's the product we want to talk about, prepare a few assets, define what would be a good channel, and then just send that out. But we need to fuel the engine to actually make use of it. So you can imagine that as like a big bucket that you're filling with lots of propositions, starting with maybe the products you want to talk about or the brand campaigns you want to talk about, but then enhancing it with specializing for different channels, for different customers' journey stages, for different segments, and also here distinguishing between different values or different tonalities, so to become more personal. And then we're able to be flexible and really react to where the customer stands in the customer journey. Because we have, in the bucket, there's at least one message that's actually relevant for the customer at a certain point in their journey. So for example here, when the customer is landing on the website, we can see that based on their previous interactions, we know what they're looking into, and here we have different options, what could be relevant, and then the decisioning engine can help us identify, okay, that one's actually going to buy, so the message we're gonna send on the homepage teaser is about the product that they're interested in the tonality, and also like the visual presentation that's most likely bringing him to buy the product. And of course, it's also about processes, and that's something that Matthias is talking more about.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Once again, there are many companies focusing on certain pillars, or say, yeah, change the technology, it's done, yeah, or change the creative, and it's done. No, it's about really encompassing all the five, and maybe process is one of the most important around it, because just think of the chart that Thomas just showed within VSH, but also think about motivations. Again, it's human also on the internal side, so it's human first. For instance, in terms of rewards, incentives, bonuses, what are people getting rewarded for? Yeah, if you try to destroy the silos in terms of data or in terms of departments, but if the bonus or reward or incentive system remains on the old in the old system, probably transformation won't be that successful. So it's to change from product-focused marketing, getting rid of the target group and thinking about the individuals, but also embracing customer-centric marketing holistically and really taking it into your organization. Yeah, it's about the customer end-to-end journey over time. It's about the whole organization, and I guess it was in a different speech earlier this morning. It helps to have C-suite support on that, yeah, because it's really about a change process of the entire organization, changing of the reward system, of the incentives, and all of that. So you might ask yourself, looks like a pretty big elephant, how can we slice that? Or is that something I should rather not touch because I have not the budget, not the team size or whatever? In this case, I would rather, or we would rather challenge you to think about what's the risk of not doing it. Because we believe that the risk of doing something is highly overestimated over the risk of not doing it. And not doing these changes and not going into the effort of transforming will most likely lead you on the wrong way. So start with an assessment, start small, but dream big. Just plot yourself on that scale. Where do you find your brand? Where do you find your company? Are you still in a nascent state doing one-to-all communications, all data siloed, all departments, not talking to each other? Or are you somewhere along this scale? Yeah. And then starting from there, you will just naturally find the next steps that are required to do so. And of course, if you have troubles in doing that assessment, we're always ready to help. Yeah, you are free to contact us anytime. And if you want to learn more about our view on marketing transformation, just scan that QR code, please, and download our white paper. Katharina and myself wrote that, and it contains a lot more information on that topic. And yeah, happy to further discuss this topic with you. Thanks for listening.
It off. I didn't realize, but the room is small enough. So we have then the other tables. I just quickly go through them. Table number 1 will be Christian Hüttenheim, the keynote this morning about venture clienting. Then Carlos will be table number 2 right here. And then we have Dr. Saldet, you will be table number 3, but please grab a coffee, grab a tea, be back at 12, and thank you so much.